my name is Alexander Resto, and today I'll be presenting my new supervisor training proposal for Broward County employees in conjunction with our Broward County Human Resource Division and our respective Broward County Training Division for newly promoted employees who are being promoted for the first time as first-line supervisors. The purpose of my training proposal will be to utilize the ADDIE instructional model. With the training proposal, I'll be going through each of the steps in ADDIE of analyzing, designing, developing, implementing, and evaluating a training program for new supervisors who, again, are being promoted for the first time from line employees to first-line supervisors within Broward County. Now, as far as a backdrop on the ADDIE model was originally derived from systems during World War II to coordinate the landings at Normandy Beach. The ADDIE model is one of the earliest instructional design models, including the 5 phases of analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. I'll be talking about how each of these 5 steps is critical in developing, implementing, and evaluating a new supervisor training proposal for employees here in Broward County. The ADDIE model will be utilized to, again, analyze, design, develop, implement, and evaluate a new supervisor training proposal in conjunction with Broward County Human Resources and staff at our respective training division. Now, with regards to the proposal, the ongoing analysis is going to determine the issues to be addressed with the ADDIE model. This will include clarifying instructional objectives, clarifying instructional problems, and identifying the learning environment and the learner's existing knowledge and skills with regards to the presented format of learning. With regards to an analysis of Broward County employees, essentially conducting a SWOT analysis, we determined a need for first-time supervisors training. Again, the majority of employees, when they are promoted for the first time, have no formal managerial training. In this instance, the new training proposal will address critical areas in the areas of leadership and development, as well as respective supervisory training in human resources policy and employment law. With regards to a definition, management itself is distinguished as a level of supervision between the rank and file employees and organizational leaders. Reading between effective leadership and effective employees, effective managers are critical to an organizational success. Thus, identifying the need for a new supervisor training, which would be critical to ensuring that employees that are being promoted for the first time to first-line supervisors are successful in their respective roles as new supervisors within Broward County. In the design phase involves a systematic design with identifying the following and the specific relationships among them. This includes data from subject matter analysis, learning objectives, assessing instruments, exercises, content, lesson planning, which includes the utilization of media and technology. In the design phase of my new supervisor training proposal, we will be utilizing traditional classroom instruction format for learners. This will include the utilization of video presentations, case studies, group exercises, and classroom discussions among participants. We will also be utilizing hybrid online e-learning portals for continual leadership development on an annual basis with program participants. And we will also be utilizing both formative and summative evaluations conducted during and following the course completion for certification and for an assessment to evaluate whether the learners have completed the requisite knowledge, passed the summative evaluation, and are deemed ready to be promoted to first-line supervisors within the respective divisions in Broward County. In the development of my training proposal, we will be discussing the development phase, which will be the content assets, which are blueprinted in the design phase and created and assembled by instructional designers and developers. This will include the writing content, designing graphics, and developing and integrating educational technologies. As we mentioned before, we will be utilizing traditional classroom instruction, which will include video, PowerPoint, case studies, group exercises, and classroom discussion, as well as online learning hybrid approach, utilizing hybrid learning portals for students to continually engage and continually develop in the areas of leadership on an annual basis. Now, in the development phase, our human resources and training division will basically structure the course in two critical areas. This will include leadership development for new supervisors, as well as human resource management skills for new supervisors. The leadership development portion will include the 12 critical areas of leadership development, which will range from conflict management to communication to other topic areas, which will include delegating, mentoring, and decision-making for first-time supervisors. The human resource management portion will include instruction, both classroom and online, on critical knowledge, skills, and abilities for new supervisors, which will include areas such as employment law, diversity and inclusion, ADA compliance, and human resources management information systems. Now, in the implementation phase of the training proposal, essentially what we're determining is what needs to be done to prepare facilitators and learners for the guided learning activities. We will be developing procedures for training facilitators and learners, creating facilitator training that covers course curriculum, learning outcomes, our method of delivery, and of course, testing procedures in a formative and summative fashion. The new supervisor training proposal will also include an implementation phase. Again, this will include traditional in-class instruction, which will include expositive methods such as videos and instructor-led presentations on leadership development, application methods, which will include online and group activity between learners, group case study assignments, and active engagement in social interaction in groups amongst the learners in the new supervisor training class. In the implementation phase, we will be discussing how the content will be delivered. Again, we'll be utilizing online and e-learning hybrid format, which will also be available for the learners, utilizing again the ADDIE model of instructional design. In terms of collaborative methods in the implementation phase, we will be utilizing group case study activities, online discussion forums among learners, which will foster social interaction and engagement among the learners, as well as active role play discussing real-world situations for new supervisors that they may encounter in the workplace. We will also be utilizing peer-to-peer evaluation of the active role play exercises among the learners. In the evaluation phase, we will be utilizing two types of assessments used to evaluate what has been implemented and developed. Part one of the evaluation phase will include a formative assessment, which will be used during each stage of the ADDIE instructional design model process. And part two will include summative assessments that will test domain-specific knowledge, skills, and abilities using criteria and reference questions and performing tasks and feedbacks from users. Formative assessments within the training proposal for new supervisors. They will be conducted after each of the 12 key areas of leadership development. Essentially, the leadership development portion will be structured in a 12-part series. After each part, we will be conducting formative assessments of learning, which will include short quizzes after each section to assess the incremental progress of learners, as well as the aptitudes to the content that has been delivered. And in terms of additional formative assessments, we will be utilizing an in-class discussion and essential case study to develop individual leadership styles. The case assessment will allow each of the learners to assess their specific individual leadership style, so they're familiar with their personal leadership style. In terms of the summative evaluation phase, in the new training for new supervisors in Broward County, we will be using a summative approach, which will measure the overall course effectiveness. The summative evaluation phase will include a final comprehensive supervisory battery test. In this test, each of the participants must score 80 out of 100 for a certificate of completion and promotion to their new supervisor position. This will be the final summative evaluation. After course completion, a survey of course effectiveness and suggested improvements will be presented to program participants to get back direct feedback in terms of what they assess was effective in instruction, and also to assess what can be done for further improvements for future use. Again, with the summative evaluation, the final comprehensive supervisory test will measure overall effectiveness with a criteria of scoring 80 correct answers out of 100 answers in order to pass the course, receive a certificate of completion, and be formally promoted to the new position of new supervisor within Broward County. And moving forward, we will also be utilizing an online e-learning hybrid format to deliver additional courses for additional ongoing certification on an annual basis for new supervisors, so they can continue to refresh their knowledge of leadership and development, and to also have a peer-to-peer format where they may be able to actively engage throughout the year with other new supervisors in their respective cohorts.